Your enemies are crazy shocked. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, your enemies are crazy shocked. I need somebody to drop in the comments and say, what I carry amazes you. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, what I carry amazes you. A lot of times, y'all, your enemy don't know or can't believe that the things you've been through, you actually made it through. Oftentimes, they underestimate you and don't even place you in a position or in a regard that states or says that you him, you are. Most times, y'all, they keep you stagnant or keep you in a box that says that you can only do this, but they don't know what you carry. See, the reason why your enemies are crazy shocked is because they are only thinking about what they would have done, what they can do, how they would have handled it, how they would have responded to the situation. And the list goes on. But you ain't them, and they not you. And that's why they crazy shocked. You get what I'm saying? Somebody drop in the comments and let me know. But I want to get directly into this video, y'all, because this right here is one of the ones. All right. Make sure you leave a thumbs up on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring my bell so you can be notified after every single video I post. Let's get right into this one, y'all, because this right here is interesting. Number one reason why your enemies will be crazy shocked is because of how strong you are. All right, let me say it louder for my chosen ones in the back. How strong you are. You get what I'm saying? See, family, what you've been through seems normal to you, don't it? Yeah, I know. The things that you have accomplished, the things that you have accumulated, the obstacles you've been through, the type of people you've been betrayed by, the things that hurt you, the people who stabbed you in the back, the list goes on. It seems normal and natural to you, but it's not. And people are looking at you from afar like, man, even if they don't like you, even if they can't stand your guts, they're looking at you like, man, really? For real? How bruh get past this? How did she do this? How was she able to handle this with all them kids? How was she able to get past this? And she got abusive baby daddy. The list goes on. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is some things that would have broke them built you, right? So, family, you think of a person who went through homelessness, repossession, and these are typical things, right? Like, I'm not saying this like people don't go through this every day, but I will say this in terms of people not getting through this every day. So people go through it, but a lot of people don't get through it. A lot of people don't get to tell the story. A lot of people don't get to say, yeah, I lost my car, but I got it back. I lost my situation, but I got it back. Yeah, a lot of people still right there on the side of the road, underneath the bridge, ready to tell their story. And this is not even a joke, okay? I'm just saying that a lot of people do go through these type of things. However, y'all, let's just say you went through homelessness, all right? Repossession, the loss of a loved one. Once again, another one of those ones that a lot of people experience, okay? Losing loved ones. If you haven't lost one, ever, at some point it's going to happen. It's inevitable. That's why it's spoken about in the Bible. But the loss of a job. But one thing they didn't lose, or one thing you didn't lose, was yourself. That is what represents strength. If you didn't lose you, your enemy's gonna be crazy shocked. All right? Somebody drop in the comments and say, I'll never lose myself. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, I'll never lose myself. That in itself is strength. That in itself is power. And that in itself is what makes your enemies crazy shocked. Because you lost all those things, friends, homeboys, homegirls, loved ones, your job, your house. The list goes on. But you never lost yourself. And you got it all back. You got it all back. Number two, it's going to be this right here, fam. How composed you are. All right? How composed you are. Being composed speaks a lot about your character. Being composed speaks a lot about your emotions. You know, we human beings, y'all, so we gonna feel emotions every day. We human beings, fam, so we gonna feel, different every day. Some days I wake up, I feel amazing. I feel like him. Some days, man, I be like, bro, let's go ahead and get it over with. I got something on my mind right now. Like, I can't even function how I need to. But that's human. You feel me? That's human. However, y'all, when you're composed through it all, it shows your strength, and that is what keeps your enemies crazy shocked. Let's put it like this, y'all. A person who avoids conflict, drama, gossip, or any negativity, right? A person who avoids conflict, drama, gossip, or any negativity. You know why they are the superior one? Because it's much more difficult to avoid negativity than it is to avoid positivity, right? Yeah, it's a lot more difficult to avoid negativity. You know why? Because negativity is so easily embedded into the spirit. It's so easily to engage in, especially when things are not going your way. Like it's hard. All right, it's hard to be positive. It's easy to be negative. It's hard to be positive, and it is easy to be negative, especially when everything you see on social media is negative. You know, everything your family talking about is negative. It can even be kids, man. I'm just being honest, your own kids, right? But when everything is negative, it's so easy to indulge into that. Rena, what are you saying right now? When you meet a person or when you are the person who is extremely composed, that in itself stands out. That's why your enemies are crazy shocked because they see how well you keep yourself together. You're not allowing people to pull you out of character. You're not allowing that provoking spirit to provoke you. You're not allowing certain people to do certain things that take you to a place that you regret the next day. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, your enemies are crazy shocked by how composed you are. Cool, calm, and collected. Okay? Number 3, the fact you didn't turn evil. All right? We got to speak on that, y'all. The fact you didn't turn evil. When I say that, I don't mean literally. What I'm saying is that the fact you did not turn into what broke you, what bruised you, what abused you, what, tormented you. The fact that you didn't turn into that, you took none of their ways, you took none of their habits. You follow what I'm saying? The fact that you didn't take that and become that, it shows your strength. And that's why your enemies are crazy shocked. You know, y'all, this right here may be uncomfortable for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people have been through it, y'all, even myself. Sexual abuse, especially as a kid, right? Child molestation is real. Sexual abuse for kids is real. Things like that happen, man, all the time. And so I know this may be uncomfortable, but I gotta, unveil the rabbit out the hat, all right? But a lot of people who were sexually abused, your R. Kelly's, and we love his music, but we got to keep it real. Your R. Kelly's, you know what I'm saying? Your Diddy's, Jeffrey Epstein's, and the list goes on, honestly. When you've been sexually abused, it turns you into another person, or it turns you into a person who is extremely protective of self and anyone around you, right? To where it's almost like you're overprotective. It happens. It turns you into the person that did it to you, or it turns you into the person who's overly protective. You get what I'm saying? Which there are cons in both situations, but I'd rather be the overprotective person. But that's just my opinion. The point that I'm making is that people who've been sexually abused, they turn into that. They go out here, looking for prey because now they're the predator. They turn into that. But really, it's that hurt that's on the inside of them. No, I'm not making an excuse, but it's that hurt that's on the inside of them that's really roaring out like a lion. It's really roaring out. They're trying to find a way to get it out of them. They're looking for an outlet, okay? They're looking for an outlet. And I got to also add to this too. not only is it overprotective or you turn into that person, but you may become overly sexual too, promiscuous, if you will. So you don't have to always be an abuser. Sometimes you just may overly indulge into sex. All right. But I wanted to add that. But my point is that when you've been sexually abused, yeah, most times you turn into what, turns you into that. And then you're looking for someone else to infect. It's almost like a contagious disease or something. You get me? But the point is, y'all, is that the fact you did not turn evil, it's bigger than sexual abuse. Okay, it can be verbal abuse. It can be manipulation. It can be anything that happened to you. But the fact that you didn't turn into what, turned you, or you didn't turn into what hurt you or tried to abuse you or harm you, it shows that you have a lot of strength. And that is what have your enemies in a mind state of being crazy shocked, for sure. Number 4, how gifted you are, all right? Your enemies are shocked at how gifted you are. I need somebody to drop in the comments if I'm describing you or if I'm speaking directly to you, all right? Answer these questions for me. If you can sing, drop in the comments and let me know. If you can rap, drop in the comments and let me know. If you can dance, anything with entertainment, drop in the comments and let me know. If you can paint, if you are artistic in any way, drop in the comments and let me know. All right. If you are a great speaker, drop in the comments and let me know. If you have anything that you do the absolutely best without any effort, drop in the comments and let me know. If you good with your hands, meaning if you can fix things, drop in the comments and let me know. If you are spiritually gifted, meaning a lot of times you see things before they happen. You discern things before they happen. You peep people before they show you who they were or before they show you who you already knew they were. That's a spiritual gift. In other words, if you are gifted in any way, shape, form, or fashion, drop in the comments and let me know, okay? Reno, why you want me to do that? The point is that your enemies were not expecting for you to be as gifted as you were. Yeah, they thought that you were just some peon. They thought that you were just some person who was existing, right? They thought that you were just some person who was basic. No, you are exceptional. Okay, somebody drop that down below in the comments. I'm exceptional. Yeah, you are exceptional. Y'all remember the movie This Christmas with Chris Brown? He was singing. Obviously, we all know that CB can sing his butt off. But in the movie, he was portrayed as just the baby of the family. That's it. It's just the baby of the family. And when he got on stage, his entire family was like, what? What, you can do that? Like, what? You follow what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that his family was his enemies, but what I'm saying is your enemies have the same reaction, right? Like, you can do that? You get what I'm saying? And especially when you are spiritually gifted, you already own to their games. You already know how they play it. You already know how they're moving. You already know how they act. You already know their intentions. It shows how gifted you are spiritually, all right? But if you're gifted in any capacity, your enemies think this, y'all, for sure. Number 5, the last thing is going to be this right here, fam. The fact that you're not materialistic. This right here is probably going to be one of my biggest ones personally, okay? But the fact that you're not materialistic. Your enemies are materialistic. You give them some money, they are willing to sell out. You give them something that's materialistic, they are going to sell out. You give them anything that says it has value, they are willing and ready to sell out. They're going to make a deal with the devil, guaranteed. Family, you're not like that. You are not materialistic. If it don't sit with your spirit, you ain't going for it. Like I'm not bragging, y'all, at all, but I like to be transparent with my fam. Like, I got a brand deal right now, willing to pay me, decent, right? However, the terms and conditions are not looking like how or they don't sit well with my values and my morals and what I see as a respectable set of terms and conditions. A person who's materialistic gonna say, oh, forget that, I'm gonna just roll with it. No, all money ain't good money. And also, I'm not materialistic. I can turn down certain things, okay? Outside of the brand deal. Y'all know I had a Frenchie, right? I paid 2 grand for that dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I really invested into the dog even after the 2 grand. Okay. Vets, hospital visits, medicine, shampoo. Man, that stuff ain't cheap. Treats, food, the list goes on. It ain't cheap, right? But I'm willing to choose not only me, but what serves me over something that's materialistic, all right? Again, I want the dog to have a great life. I want the dog to have a beautiful life. Go on and live your best life. But the reality is, in this human life, you have to do what serves you the best. Okay? You have to do what serves you the best. And so what I'm saying is that although I spent 2 bands, a lot of people would think, man, Reno, you spent 2 grand on that dog. Boy, I would have kept that dog. No, if it's not serving me, if it's harming my place of stay, if it's not, once again, serving me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I gotta let it go. No matter how much I care about it. Because I'm not materialistic. Okay? No dog. I don't care what expensive brand it is. No deal. If the terms and conditions ain't right, I'm not signing. Okay? If things are not aligning with my moral, my code, my ethics, my principles, I'm not going. It just ain't gonna happen. But that's a person who's not materialistic. Your enemies are crazy shot because they would have made that deal with the devil. And that's why they're your enemies. They're not on the same level as you. With that being said, family, we're going to do this recap and then we'll conclude this video. Number 1, y'all, your enemies are crazy shocked at how strong you are. Number 2, how composed you are. Number 3, the fact you didn't turn evil. Number 4, how gifted you are. And number 5, the fact that you're not materialistic, okay? With that being said, fam, I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Get you a Yes Sir t-shirt, Yes Sir hoodie, book a one-on-one session with your boy, and you can check out any one of my books. Once again, fam, catch y'all in the next one. Keep a rich mentality. Peace.